I'm Rabbi Shaul Rosenblatt. This is Tikun's weekly Davar. Torah portion this week is Vayeira, fourth in the book of Genesis. It tells a story of Abraham, right in the middle of sort of the history of what Abraham, our forefather, did. And I had this idea from my Rabbi Weinberg. You know, when people are a frustrating thing on roads and kind of motorways is the phenomenon of rubbernecking, which is, you know, there's getting this long traffic jam and they're sitting there for hours and driving very slowly, and you kind of move forward and finally you get to the point of the traffic jam, and all it is that there was a big accident on the other side of the carriageway, and everybody's stopping to gawk. You know, everybody's kind of slowing down to see if, let's see what we can see over there. Maybe there's a leg on the road that's come off, or, you know, some dead body over there. You know, everyone's interested. They want to see what's going on, see what's happening on the other side. The rabbis tell us, don't try and look at your friend at the time of his trouble. Don't gaze at a person when he's suffering, when he's having a hard time. When somebody's suffering, if you're going to help, by all means, get in there and help. But if you can't, move on. Drive on. Human suffering is not a spectator sport. What's often overlooked, though, is, you know, we think we can't really help people. Not much you can do. There's an accident, you know, it's the fire brigade and the police to sort it all out, and that's true. There's something you can do there. You can pray. You know, when you hear an ambulance driving past, with sirens blazing, you know, zooming along, how many people stop to consider the fact that there's a human being inside that ambulance who's suffering, who's sick, who's having a hard time, who's going through a difficult moment in their life? You ever stop to think about that? And if you did you ever take a moment to pray and to say, please God, help that person? Reach out to them in the moment of their suffering. The Torah demands of us that we reach out to strangers. Doesn't matter who they are, what they are. We reach out to other human beings. And at the very least we pray for them. You know, it's part of being a human being. It's part of caring. Other people going through pain it's not an exciting show. It's something that we have to feel and respond to in some way. In this week's Torah portion, Abraham prays for the city of Sodom. God's about to destroy it. You know, if ever there was a corrupt society in the history of humanity, it was Sodom. It was the antithesis of all of Abraham's values. Everything that Abraham was fighting against was manifest in Sodom. And yet Abraham prayed for it. He didn't just pray, he begged. He begged God. He said, please God, save them. Please God, save people. Please, they're terrible people. Save them all. Save them all, even the bad ones. Because they're still God's children. Because there's still a spark of humanity inside of these human beings, and Abraham wanted to reach out to them. And kind of what he said was, okay, God, you don't want them around, and I kind of don't want them around either. But surely, God, there's a way of working things out that instead of making them not around, you could actually make them change. You could actually turn them in the direction of goodness instead of destroying them. Abraham cared. He cared enough to beg God, even about murderers, even about terrible, horrible people. That's the level of care that the Torah is guiding us towards. That's the level of care that we should have towards other human beings. So yeah, we may not be able to solve all of the world's problems, that's true, but we do have the ability to pray. So pray. Pray for that God solves the problems of famine in so many countries. Pray that God helps us find a cure for cancer. Not because yourself or somebody you love might have cancer one day, but because there's so many of God's children suffering right now from that illness. And pray that God finds a cure before it's too late for them. Pray for the soldiers in Israel. Pray for British soldiers, American soldiers in Afghanistan. And pray for their adversaries. Pray that their adversaries put down their weapons and save themselves as well. And finally, next time you drive by an accident, it's true there's usually not much you can do to help. But people are not animals in a zoo. You're not at the zoo just because you're on the motorway driving past the horrific accident. Look the other way. Don't be interested. Don't look to see what you can see. Look the other way and pray. Pray that the human beings suffering in this accident are going to be okay and that God's going to look after them. If you care about human beings and you care about their pain, it's the very least you could do. I wish you Shabbat Shalom. If you're interested in finding more about Tikun, please log on to our website, tikun.co.uk.